Yo, what's good, boys? We are back at it again with another MLB The Show 25 video for you guys, and today we're going to be updating my top 50 players in the game. So it's been a little bit. We got some new content, and then we got even more new content. After I dropped all the tier lists, we obviously got our new program bosses. We got our weekend classic players, stuff like that, as well as some new spotlight players. None of them are super noteworthy. But I do feel like it's a great time to update this top 50 before we start getting into some new drops of new players. So if you enjoy the content, leave a like, subscribe, all that business. And let's go ahead and hop into it. So I have included at the bottom here what I call difficulty relevant pitchers, where for you personally, they could be in your top 50 or out of your top 50 based on what difficulty you play on. A lot of these guys are going to be higher elo pitchers that thrive more with control and just do better on higher difficulties, where pars are bigger for everybody. So you kind of need those control guys to make the most out of that. Now, organize them in like how relevant I think they are for each difficulty. And there we go. So you got like Fernando. Common question I get on Fernando is, when do I pitch him? I would say Legend Plus. You can get some okay starts out of him on Hall of Fame, assuming your opponents aren't like super comfortable against him. But for the most part, he's like a Legend Plus pitcher for me. Cueto, Kluber, Zimmerman, Webb, Leiter, Pettit, all probably guys you're going to want to wait till Hall of Fame. Leiter, especially, he can make it work on All-Star. But these are all guys that get a lot better after you get to Hall of Fame. And then you got some All-Star demons here in DeGrom and Hunter Green, where if you just need guys that have outlier, sure, they can play up to Hall of Fame. And even on Legend, they're probably still not the easiest things in the world to hit. But if you just need outlier for All-Star to try to get strikeouts and whatnot, these two can do it for you. So they are what I call my difficulty relevant pitchers. So we've got the rest of our list here, and we'll start with Raleigh. So I think probably top 30 for him is more or less fair. The most consistent right-handed reliever, at least right now, until Gagne is a little more widespread. So I think he makes a list. I think Glaber barely hangs on. I think he's probably down, like 20-something spots at this point. So he's down here. If you like Jackie at second base over him, if you still like Christian Campbell over him, there's other guys kind of a similar power, but pretty much all of them would be just scraping the list. Kipnis, probably in this 30 range. Will Smith, probably top 50, maybe 40. His power against one side is not too great. Seager, probably like top 30. He got kind of rebalanced. I think he lost some contact, or he gained some contact, lost some power, still has really high clutch, something like that. But he's still kind of irrelevant against lefties, but the clutch helps him. And the swing is just insane, and he's almost always playing up. So he has that going for him. Roman Anthony, clinging onto this top 50 spot. He's just been surpassed by guys like Griffey and Jazz. I like Roman swing more than Jazz, so I think I view them as more similar to each other than like Griffey, who I think is better than both of them by a mile. So I think that's kind of why he clings on barely. Kyle Tucker, I felt like I'd put him here. He's just a pure DH, so it really, how high on the list can he go? Especially when you look in terms of, if you just want a lefty DH, Shohei's probably better other than the clutch. Tucker's got him beat on clutch. If you want like a righty DH, Judge just blows both of them out the water. So he's not super relevant, but he is worth mentioning. Tony Clark, probably also like a top 50 guy. You can see a lot of these like end cards just aren't that crazy. JD here, probably like 40. I mean, you can play him in left. Wherever Manny goes is where he'll go. So I'm thinking top 40, and we'll go ahead and put Manny next to him. Like I've been saying, pretty like similar cards. One has way more quirks, Manny. The other has just better all around stats. They're both pretty poor in the outfield, but Manny at least has a cannon to kind of make up for it, whereas JD doesn't. So they're pretty comparable. They're both probably better as DHs at this point. But as far as Red Sox left fielders, it's, basically the same card. Cattell, I think, still stays in my top 10. Still, in my opinion, probably the best live series card in the game. It was between him and Soto. Soto got nerfed. Cattell's getting his inside edge back. So I think Cattell is easily a top 10 card in the game. He's like the best defensive second baseman. He is a top 3 defensive shortstop, in my opinion. And he's a switch hitter with an awesome swing. So there's really nothing to not like about Cattell. Ortiz, probably top 40. The only way you'd probably want Tony Clark over him would just be you want the switch hitting ability, because Ortiz beats him in pretty much everything except power left. So Clark maybe will be better for some people just because of switch hitting ability, but everybody loves Ortiz. Messed up on the last top 50. Should just had him instead of like Bryce and Babe. I think I had both of them in there. So probably should just had Ortiz. As far as Mookie's concerned, the nerfs really hurt him in the roster update. I could see an argument for maybe still like top 30, but we'll see. We'll refine the list as we go, obviously. J-Ram still just top 30. Just the splits make him hard to use. Still obviously has a great swing and some really good quirks, but he's a small third baseman, which is going to hurt his defense. And he just, like I say, has bad splits. You're very dependent on what his inside edge is for that day. And it usually is good, and it's usually against righties, but the days it's not, it makes him hard to use. McMahon, I think he's probably still like a top 30-ish card. He's kind of similar to like a Corey Seager out of position at third, but just all the time. Corey obviously has the better quirks, but McMahon has a really good swing and just beats Corey in most stats anyway. Soto, I think, drops to top 20. I believe he's been top 10 in all of these I've done for the year, but the roster update hurt him. You're really dependent on getting a good inside edge for him. He's still super usable without it, especially if you put parallels on him. But it's just, you're very dependent on the inside edge. Rollins, top 40. I think that's more or less where he was last time. I think that is more or less where I'm going to keep him. Still has a good swing, still has either dead red or breaking ball. I forget which one it is. But still has a good swing, still has one of the better quirks, and he's still pretty fast. So this card gets infinitely better the more parallels you put, but he's still never going to be a great defensive shortstop. Lindor, nerfs hurt him. He lost clutch. He's got actually like 60, 70 clutch flat right now. So that really hurts him on higher difficulties. I've seen people still be really successful with him just because of his swing, so I get that. But I personally would steer clear with the clutch being what it is. If you're on All-Star, obviously it's not really relevant. But his clutch is pretty bad. Ozzy, I would say I view similar to Glaber, where I think, honestly, I like Glaber's swing more. It's just Ozzy's a switch hitter. The inverse splits are kind of weird with Ozzy. I think both of them are in a pretty similar spot at second base. Santander, he's either like very top of this top 20 category, or he's at the very bottom of this top 10. His contacts are just getting outdated. The higher you go in difficulty, the more you see guys like John, Randy, even the new Dustin May, Zimmerman, a lot of these high hit cards. He does tend to struggle. He still has crazy power and a really good swing, so that's why he's still up here. But he is kind of slipping a little bit, which makes sense. The card's like 2 months old now, so it makes sense. New Justin Turner. He's cool. I don't think he's better than like running Seager out of position or J-Ram or McMahon or Devers, who we'll get to in the future. But I think he's a really cool free, grind option. Definitely not a bad card. Always has a really nice swing, and there's always kind of a group of people that love his cards. So they can have fun with like the 60 power, right? He absolutely mashes lefties. Probably the best lefty bench bat or righty to hit lefties on the bench that you can have in the game. But I don't know how many people's starting lineups he's making. KB, I think there's not enough to differentiate him from McMahon. It's more of like an issue of how many lefties you already have in your lineup, as to if you would pick between McMahon and Bryant. McMahon, I think, has some quirks, whereas Bryant has none, which is really unfortunate because he's like a bronze now. But he does still have a pretty nice swing. I have noticed from using him, he does get jammed a lot. So be careful of that if you're facing like a Loizaga or a Dustin May or a card like that. Brian Reynolds, probably still top 20. Just a complete lack of power on this card. But he is, invaluable if you don't have Beltran. He's still one of the better center fielders in the game, and still really good in his secondary of left field as well. Dustin May, maybe top 40, maybe top 30. We'll just kind of see how the list develops. He's cool. Like, he's not ever going to be on that level of like a John or a Randy, and his hits aren't that high. And he's not like necessarily a great control freak pitcher. But I think he does transcend difficulties. I think you can get good starts out of him on All-Star. You can get good starts out of him on Hall of Fame, Legend, GOAT. He is kind of an all difficulties pitcher. And so that's why he is actually on the list and not down here with a lot of these other guys. Speaking of big devers, Rafi Big Scoops, I view all these as pretty similar, where you could run any of these at third base and you'd be fine. And I think they're all cool. New Ellie, probably top 40. It's just like, it's running PCA at shortstop pretty much. I have seen people talk about running like the live series, assuming you have them super fractured over this one. If the inside edge is good, but even then you're costing yourself defense, because I don't know how many people know this, but I think the new one actually has like 20 reaction on the old one. We'll see if I'm right here, but I'm pretty sure he has like 20 reaction. So you'll see the power right is already higher. You're going to have to be getting a plus 10 right there. The clutch I know is higher. It's, quite a bit higher, and that does not go up with inside edges at all. So, I mean, I don't really think there's an argument to be made here. You're getting like 10 arm accuracy, which will help you a little bit. You're getting, okay, so it's only 5 reaction. But that's still a good amount, especially if there is like an imaginary threshold at 90. You can actually hit it with the new one where you can't with the old one. So the new one's just way better than the old one. Griffey, I want to put him like top 30. I don't know if that's crazy, because I don't view him that differently from Brian Reynolds. But I think for right now, we'll just leave him top 30. Peter, he's definitely better than Ortiz in my opinion. So I think he's also a top 30 card. And you can see we're kind of running out of space here. So we're going to have to juggle our tiers a little bit here. Utley, probably top 40. We're going to have to kick some guys down. This was by far the hardest top 50 list to make. I promise you. There was so many hard cuts and guys that just barely missed. The new Giancarlo is a cool card. I think I view him as like basically the outfield version of this Justin Turner, where it's like a really cool card and a lot of people really enjoy his swing, but he just doesn't fit in like really any God squads. But it is a cool card, and so I think top 40 is a good spot for it. Maybe it'll move up a little bit. We'll see as the list develops. I think Ohtani, it's like a top 30 card. He's a DH only for the most part. You can run him in the right field, and he won't be awful. But I don't think his reaction's very good. But he is decently fast, so it kind of makes up for it. And obviously has like every quirk in the game. So Santana, finally, another top 10 card to kind of intersperse the list a little bit. Eugenio, I thought he would kind of make distance on a lot of these other third basemen after using them. Maybe I just wasn't super comfortable with his swing, but I used him on the Diamondbacks Tier 1 boost. I just was not vibing with it. But I still see the potential. Like, he has unbelievable power, and in theory, he has a really good swing. but I just wasn't able to put it together. So I'm not hurting him for that. But I am just saying maybe he's on fraud watch. Judge, arguably top 20. Like definitely like pretty much the best DH you could have right now, other than having a switch hitter there. Just insane stats. He's playing up every single day. He's just doing unreal stuff. And he hits some of the best lasers that you will see in the game because he's got like every quirk. He's got crazy power. If Ohtani had the stats that Judge had, Ohtani probably be like a top 10 card. Polanco, probably just like front of top 20. Feels like a good spot for him. I think Correa goes top 30 and Story goes top 20. I think I would prefer this Story over Correa. I wish they didn't juice Story's like durability and gave him some actual better hitting stats. But I think his swing is better. I think I like his archetype at shortstop more of like the speedy defensive power hitting shortstop more than like the contact focused fielding shortstop that Correa is. So could be wrong on that. Obviously, I haven't used him because he's like, 200, 300K, whatever he is right now, because only people that saved programs or whatever have him. So we'll see in, a week or two. But I'm kind of taking a risk and predicting with like Story and Gagne is actually on here somewhere with those type of cards. Posada I view as very similar to Santana. Both really good switch hitting capture options there. Gagne, I did, like I said, I put him on the list. I think I'm just going to give him like the Raleigh Fingers spot, kind of, where I think when he's more widespread, he'll be people's go-to safety righty, is my prediction for him. I don't know if he'll ever really take that Raleigh spot because we saw Raleigh dominate for so long last year, but we'll see. Roger, easy top 10. We need to like fill out more of this top 10. I don't know if he's more valuable than Santana. I think you can have that debate. Somebody is definitely not more valuable than Beltran. Gil Hodges right after Beltran, I think. John Don, top 20, not top 10. Randy, top 20, not top 10. Willie Castro, top 10. I think he beats Cattell. I think he beats Santana and maybe even Clemens. He might be the one card you can go buy on the market that's worth more than Clemens. Now, that's with a grain of salt because I've barely played with him. But when you look at his stats, he's basically a finest card with just no stealing. No quirks, hurts him a little bit, but he's also a switch hitter with max out contact and clutch. So it's like, how much does having quirks really matter at that point? You put some parallels on him, he's got like low 90 power against both sides, I think. Just an unreal card for this stage of the game. I don't know who okayed that, but he's just crazy. If you want to put him over Gil Hodges, you probably could, but I think that'd be crazy with how much Hodges quirks kind of pop. This Bernie card sucks. You're going to have to play him out of position. Doesn't have the craziest quirks in the world, I believe. And he's pretty pedestrian against righties. He mashes lefties, so he's going to fit in the meta pretty well there. But I believe he's pretty pedestrian against righties, and he's not a good fielder in center field, which means he's going to be even worse in a corner spot. But it is Bernie. He is a switch hitter. People loved him last year. I'm sure he's going to be very good this year. So I think top 30s probably pretty adequate for him, especially because there's not too many outfielders in this tier. I think he's pretty similar to Griffey. He's like if Griffey was a switch hitter and played slightly worse defense. So Scott, I don't want to put him top 10. I'll be honest with you. I do not want to put this card top 10. He plays fine for me. Like, he's not playing bad. He's batting like 350, but it's like every at bat with him feels so gross. It feels like if I was playing the top players in the world routinely, they would just be spamming inside Dustin May sinkers, and Scott Rowland would have no chance to ever get around on him. Absolutely hate his swing. He is like not one of my favorite swings of the year. But he does just have crazy quirks, crazy contact, really good power against lefties. And statistically, at least, he's the best defensive third baseman in the game. So I think that makes him top 10 begrudgingly, but he hasn't been that crazy for me. The new Jordan. So I would probably have ranked the old Jordan like 30, 40, somewhere in this area. This one's top 20 because you can play him in the field if you want to. So it gives you a lot of versatility in your lineup. I think that brings some extra value to him, where if you want to work in other lefties, you can, because he can actually play the field at a decent level. He has good arm strength and whatnot. So really not a bad card there. Corbin Carroll Lightning card. Again, I want to like just kind of put him top 30. I don't know. Everybody seems like a top 30 card to me. None of these seem like bad cards. And then Headley kind of goes in this third baseman pit. So I think we'll be a little stricter on our third baseman and tighten that up a little bit. I think Santi up, Ryan Reynolds up, just because they're switch hitters. So that's our top 10, more or less in order, I think. I think Cattell and Scott Rowland could go back and forth either way, but I think I like Cattell more. So we can bring two guys up to top 20 now. I think what I'm feeling here is, I want to say Bernie, and then either Ohtani, Griffey. You know what? I'm going to do a sleeper here. Pete Alonso. I think if you don't have Gil Hodges and you want a righty first baseman, this is your guy. He's absolutely insane. So I think I'm going to give it to him. All right, top 30. So we've got like 5 too many cards here. So some people got to get kicked. Got to get kicked out. Dude, all of these cards are so good. I think Turner gets knocked down. I think Mookie gets knocked down. I think JD probably gets knocked down, which is unfortunate because they're all, like I said, they're all really good cards, but I think I take all the guys above them over them. Kipnis down. McMahon down. And so I think I have one too many on the list is what it seems like. Dude, this is like impossible. I think Raleigh stays, but I think he is like towards the bottom of this, but I think he's firmly like in the top 30. He's the most consistent righty in the game. I think it's between Corbin Carroll, who's like honestly almost a platoon outfielder, and then like Ohtani as a DH, but you could also put him in right field and it wouldn't be the worst thing in the world. I think Bryant goes down, which is unfortunate because, like I said, really good free card. But I think Devers is probably still better. I think Eugenio's better. I think J Ram's better. Headley's better. Corey Seager out of position's better. So let's organize this tier. I think Ohtani's really good in right or as a DH. I think Eugenio's up here. I think Griffey's like here. Devers probably there. I think I'd rather run J-Ram over all of them, and then Headley over J-Ram. I think that's kind of our top 30, top 40 here. Let's see. Dustin May's the best player here. Honestly, you could make an argument that maybe I should put him up here. You know what? We'll swap him and Raleigh. Just because a starter is going to be more valuable on average than a reliever. More or less. I mean, you can make the argument if Raleigh gives you 4 innings every 5 games and Dustin May is giving you 6 every 5 games, you know, Raleigh's impact could be just as big, but we'll go ahead and flip them. I think Rollins is still really good out of this tier. I think I'd rather run Utley than Kipnis just based on the swing. I think Ortiz probably goes like here. Ellie, low-key, might be the best player in this tier. He's better than him, better than him, better than him. Okay. I like that top 40. Top 40 cemented. And then top 50. So think Kyle Tucker's definitely the least valuable here. Like, he's really good if you have an inside edge and it's a righty on the mound, but he's like a platoon DH. But you don't have to platoon him because the clutch is really good. But you probably should. You probably should be. Roman, dated. Glaber, dated. Ozzy just has some weird inverse splits. Bad defender at second base. And just an obnoxious switch hitter swing. I think there's a good one and there's an obnoxious one, and his borders on obnoxious to where some people love it, some people absolutely hate it. JD is probably the only player in this tier that has an argument to legitimately like want to go up. I think Mookie's really good. Lindor's really good. I think I've kind of already organized this to my liking. Yeah. All right. That's our top 50, boys. So hopefully you guys enjoyed. We kind of flew through it. It's a lot faster. Let's see. Where are we on? 30? 30, I guess. I guess we're on our third one. So if you guys enjoyed, again, like, subscribe. Tier list will be down in the description. Till next time. Peace.